right, guys. So apparently now we have sound, and now you're not here. I'm so sorry. Just had a little bit of problems again with StreamYard today. I don't know why every time we turn around, we've got to have something else that happens over in StreamYard. It is driving me damn well insane. A lot of people have problems with StreamYard, and we don't know why. I don't know. It's just a constant something. Today, my microphone would not work. So, here we go. Let's see if I can get anything to work here. Hang on. I feel so bad. Is there any noise? Is there any sound? I don't hear anything. Here we go. Let's see. Hello? I hear something. I don't think it's going to be loud enough to. God damn it. Oh, sorry, I said a bad word. I don't know if I can hear anything. Okay, let me see. Hello? I think it's there. All right, well, anyway, we'll just go here to our notes. Okay, guys, now listen, here's what I was going to talk about today before I had no sound and everything else. Let's talk about Dan Martell and his several public statements, okay? He's made many different statements. I know that. You know that. We've heard them all right? Gosh, I have the wrong teleprompter on. How about that? No, that's not what we're talking about. Hello. No, we're talking about something else. Let me pull this back up. Actually, we're going to talk about Melanie Buzzard, Ashley Buzzard, in that situation. So let me go back over here and get rid of this one. All right, get back over here. Oh my God, I'm so irritated with this. So sorry. Anyway, I got it. I'm sorry. Okay, here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Melanie Buzzard and Ashley Buzzard. Now, one thing I'll tell you that I found out today, which I was so shocked about, was the fact that, oh my God, I'm so glad you're here, Leslie. I had no sound. My microphone wouldn't work. And I could come on to StreamYard, but it would show nothing. It's a constant problem. I don't understand. Anyway, I had two things I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about Dan Martell and Ashley Buzzard and Melanie Buzzard, that situation. So I was watching along today, and I found out that many years ago, there was a Ashley Buzzard herself her mother and dad were, I think, getting divorced. And there was a custody battle and all this anyway. So her mother hid her out too, and she was about 9 years old. And so the question is this a repeat? Thank you so much, Leslie. I'm so happy. I'm asking, is this a repeat? Is she doing the same thing now? Because also, here's the thing. I don't know if y'all knew this or not, but even little Melanie Buzzard, there is a active custody battle going on with her as well. So this mother, I don't know if she's protecting her child. I don't know where the child is. I don't know that she's hurt the child. I don't think that's what happened. But I don't know. So let me check at something right quick. Oh my God, guys. Look at this. This is kind of interesting. And I was like, oh, here we go. I don't know if come on, don't do this. I don't know if you've heard this or not, but the grandmother of Melanie Buzzard, she says she's in shock and she's numb and all that. But it's because she also took her child and disappeared when her child was 9 years old. Okay, so this came up across today. It was some kind of news thing that I saw. I was like, wait, what is that? So it's the grandmother of this missing child, Melody, recently spoke with local media about her granddaughter's disappearance. The latest photo of Melody and her mother, Ashley, is reported to be from the rental car. Okay, we know that. Melody's grandmother, Lori Miranda. Okay, so Lori Miranda disappeared with Ashley when she was a child. So she goes, I was totally numb and in shock. This is just so shocking to me that my granddaughter dressed in a disguise. This is just so overwhelming. It's just so really scary. Okay. And it talks about the photo and several surveillance images. What I'm looking for, though, is the actual story. I think it was from 1993. This mother is 40 years old, and she was 9 years old when this happened. I think it was 1993 when her mother, Lori Miranda, disappeared with her during the custody battle. So Miranda said she believes her daughter and granddaughter may have crossed paths with people she and Ashley Buzzard's father once knew in those states. When you start getting past Utah and coming back, that's when you're running into his friends, she says. Now, Miranda, the grandmother, was running from the father and his friends many years ago when she had Ashley hid out. Let me turn this TV down. Hang on a second. I know this is hard. It's a little hard to keep up. And I was trying my best to go to the park today. Now she's never going to find it. So can talk about that. But anyway, she goes. The Longpack school officials reported that Melanie was missing in mid-October. Authorities said that Ashley she's been uncooperative investigation. We know that. Last week, the FBI executed the search warrant, okay? And they arrested her, but what they arrested her on was holding somebody else hostage, which is so strange, right? So there's a lot of different little moving parts. Moving parts, I don't think knew so that just created a whole situation that needs to be looked at. And I just don't know what law enforcement is going to do because they don't see Melanie, they don't see Ashley as a suspect of any sort. Why? Do they know where this child is and they're just not saying anything? Are they admitting that she has her get out somewhere? Is that what's going on here? That's what I can't figure it out, guys. I can't figure it out. Let me put this on. I can't figure that out. I'm trying to figure that out because there's definitely something going on. And I think, okay, we've talked about this before. You talk about people on psychotic breaks. I'm starting to believe because Ashley herself is bipolar. Her mother, Lori Miranda, has admitted that her daughter is bipolar. I'm starting to think that what we have here is some kind of psychotic episode where Melanie thinks that she's protected. Oh, here goes Jack. Oh my God. I've had a rough day between the dog barking and everything else. I'm like, Anyway, so I think what we have here is some kind of repeat of some kind of psychotic break that happened to her when she was younger, and she's in some kind of fear because she's in a custody battle herself. And that's really sad. It really is sad. And I wonder if she's on her bipolar medicine. I hope she is because it's so important for her mental health and for that little girl's mental health. I certainly hope nothing. Oh, do I still sound like that? I hope not. I hope that nothing bad has happened to this child. I really do, because it would be so unnecessary, I just can't get right. I'm just going to get right to it anyway. So that's one thing I was going to talk about. The other thing I want to talk about is Daniel Martell. Now, we know that Daniel Martell is being accused of this, that, and the other. Everything you can imagine, right? We know that. It's out there. But here's what we don't know. I hope that music's not too loud because that's a constant problem thing that happens too. Also, oh yes, bipolar. Thank you, Leslie. Bipolar is hard. Let me turn this music down. I think it creeps up all by itself. I don't know what's wrong with this. I swear I just can't stand StreamYard sometimes. I know other people complain. I think that's better. Anyway, I was also going to talk about Daniel Martell. Now, Daniel Martell. Let me get over to my notes right here. I have this big old thing of it. So he's given several different statements, right? But he's not been accused of anything. But yet we have all this stuff out there on Facebook and YouTube and all these things when he's getting accused of everything. But again, he's never been charged with anything. I know it looks bad. I know it looks like that he must be responsible for whatever happened to those kids. I know it looks like that. But is he? We don't know. Is Malaya? We don't know. They both took polygraph tests, right? I mean, you have to be responsible. When you're talking about these people and these kids in these cases, you cannot just be out there accusing somebody just because they look guilty. You can't do that, okay? I don't know why all this other information is coming out. But when you talk about these different interviews that they did, I mean, look, go back to June 22nd, 2025, okay? On the Never a Truer Word podcast, Martell discussed undergoing his polygraph test and he revealed that. And then he also talked about Malaya had taken one too, but he did not know what her results were, right? So he has been cooperating. And then here's another thing. This is a chat message from late June 2025. And this was screenshots from a YouTube chat under his name. It surfaced when he allegedly wrote, "No, drug dogs went through the house and the property. RCMP said drug test not a concern. I asked." And I mean, that started a whole nother speculation, right? It's just scrutiny and speculation over and over. It's been 6 months now, right? Then on November the 7th, he had a televised interview, and he says I hope the speculation turns elsewhere, and then the public started going again after him. And some interpreted that as him being frustrated. And I'm sure he is frustrated. And they're saying it's deflection. He's frustrated and deflection. Well, he's the only one speaking. Okay. Where's Malaya? She's not saying a word. Then we have all these doubts about the Woods and that theory. Remember that theory? Martell publicly stated he no longer believes Jackie and Lily wandered into the woods, challenging earlier assumptions about their disappearance. Well, who said they wandered into the woods? I don't know who said that. They think that. Some of the RCMP think that, right? But we don't know that to be a fact. So, that's another concern. Let me put this over here. So, yeah, that's another concern. It is frustrating. It's very frustrating. And I don't know what to say. I don't want to say that other people are accusing him and that kind of thing, because we know how you. Hey, Ann, how you doing, girl? I was thinking about you just the day before yesterday, when we were talking about. I did a little live about this lady over there on TikTok that is constantly making fun of people and mocking people who are on public assistance. I cannot stand that woman, and I'm sick to death of watching her. And I have all these videos of these little things where she comes up on them. She has never needed public help. She's just being rude as hell, and I don't like it. All right. So I'm going to do it. I had to take it down. There were some little things that went on, so I'm not going to repeat that whole thing, but you kind of know what it was. And I'm going to get back off of that. But anyway, I was just thinking about you. I'm so glad to see you, Ann, really. And thank you so much for all your work on Devlin. It is so appreciated. And I'm hoping today we hear some things about what's going to happen, and if we're going to get searchers or not. I certainly hope so, because that's so important, But anyway, we'll go back over here for a minute. So, Daniel Martell, he really just asked for some compassion back in June of 2025. He says that the public has to stop attacking the children's mother. Well, Malaya, if you would come out and speak, people would stop attacking you. Although we understand, as a victim of a crime, as a victim of and mother of missing children, you don't owe anything to anyone. You don't have to speak to anyone if you don't want to. We understand that. But I think in this case, if you would come out and speak to somebody, it might help. People might not have such a negative view of you and what happened here. Okay. Then here's the next little thing. I've tried to back and look at every time he's made a statement. Okay. Then there was the polygraph. Okay, we talked about that polygraph. And, they supposedly passed. He says he doesn't know about her. Then we come on back down here in November. Then he starts talking about his frustration. They're not in the woods. Okay, well, where are they? Who said they were in the woods? Where did that stem from? Was it you, or was it the RCMP? Who decided they went into the woods? Then he's made at least 5 live, he's talking about 5 times he's made these live statements, right? And let's go back over here. June 4th, he pleads to stop the attacks in Malaya. And he told CTV, it doesn't get any easier. He asked the public to stop attacking Malaya. June 22nd. Now, these are just little things that I've picked up that I've seen him say about this, that, and the other about these kids, but it's always something different, which is so strange. I mean, why? The truth is always the truth, all right? And then on a YouTube chat, this kind of surfaced. He was posting in a live stream, he talked about the drugs. And then the next thing, October the 30th, it popped up. He says he no longer thinks they're in the woods. Well, who said they were? We're going to go back to that. Who said they were, right? Here's another one. This was on November the 7th. This is just the other day. He says, well, something else happened to them. Well, what is it, Daniel? Please tell us. And he says, it has to be elsewhere. Well, what does that mean? Okay, so then we saw everybody talking about these people's house that was kind of a neighbor, and they had been over there. I saw this on Justin's the other day. I don't really have time to go back and show everything right now, but I just thought to myself, now, wait a minute. If you think that they were over there, why in the world are they still over here thinking about that? Thinking that they were I don't understand. If you thought they were at this other person's house in their woods, you should have told them that first. This makes no sense. Yes, and And it's like, I wanted to tell you that I am not going to be coming back on, on anyone's channel for a while. It'll be after the first of the year before I come back on because of the holiday. Okay, well, we understand. I just want to spend time with my husband, though, through the holidays. Oh, that's okay, Ann. We understand. And thank you so much for letting me know. I really appreciate that. And that's very important to spend time with your family. It is. Because you can make more money, but you can't make more time. Time is so important. So Daniel Martell and his constant, let me get my little glasses. I can change back over here to this other one I was talking about. So he says, and I know people talk about him all the time. And I know that this case gets a lot of coverage. I know it does. But it's because every day it's a different statement. Every time you turn around, something different. So let me look at this right here. Now, then they were talking about, remember when they were talking about, oh, well, what Durwood or whatever his name was, oh, well, those kids are over there on that reservation, blah, 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 right? Yes, and enjoy your holidays. What do you mean? Well, there's no way they can be on that reservation like that. They're not going to get that. Red Indian reservation would never allow that to happen. They know those children are being looked for. Okay? But I'm telling you, remember whenever the lady said, you're going to be gone during Thanksgiving? Okay, well, enjoy that, Leslie. We're going to be gone on Thanksgiving Day, but that's all because, I have these dogs. I can't take them with me. It's going to be our second thing. I understand that. I do. And that's very, very hard. And I know that's hard. But you know what? Here's the thing. He will be with you in spirit. He knows he'll be right there. And I know this is tough, and I'm sorry that you're going through that. I really am. I really am. That is the worst for parents. Whenever you've lost a child, that is the worst. When the holidays come around, it is the very worst time. When your birthday comes around, it is the very worst time. Because no matter what anybody says to you, it's not going to change anything about how you feel, period. It's just not going to. And we understand that. But the one thing about it is every one of them will support the other persons in our lives, etc., that we know are dealing with this because, a lot of us have lost children. And I think that's what brings people to true crime, to be honest with you. I really, really do. So, I do. I don't know. Dan Martell is just a character, and then, Janie, and they're blaming all these people. And I don't even know who to believe anymore. It's like, who do you believe? Now, Kathleen's case file, she's done a good job on this case, looking at everything. Justin over at Flushing Pearls has done a good job. My friend Lady Freedom, she does a good job on this case as well. There's a lot of people that are covering this case, and they're giving us all the information that's known. But the problem is the unknown information, right? The unknown information, which is what makes Dan Martell look so bad. I mean, if he would have never started with some of the things that he brought out, I think it might not be so bad. But at one point, he just blamed them away. Oh, here's the other thing. Think about this for a second. They still don't even have their little girl back, Madam. She's in the system now. I don't think they'll ever get her back. What's Malaya doing? She's out there partying and having a good time. Of course she is. It's just so strange, everything that's went on in that case. But anyway, I might have to just come back and finish this later because now, when I finally get down and everything else, I'm going to try and cook this damn dinner, My whole day is going to wreck. Okay. So, I talked to you about this the other day. It's a little personal thing, but anyway, I need to get the cataract surgery done. So I went to the doctor, talked to the guy, the doctor about this. And he was trying to sell me these torque lenses and all this. And I was like, that sounds scary. So today I went to my other doctor and actually got his opinion on it. And my other doctor's like, well, if you have macular degeneration, you don't want to have toric lenses for your cataracts. I was like, whoop, I'm so glad I didn't decide to do that. We can't depend on any of them for the treatment. No, we can't. But that's the thing about it. True crime is, a lot of the time, it's just true drama, and that's really sad. Because a lot of the time, there's really just people just talking about things they heard, things they were told, but nobody really knows, And the people involved, they're not going to tell you the truth. They can't. They're not going to tell you anything that law enforcement has told them not to tell anything. Look at Sebastian's case. I know that there's a lot of information on this case that we don't know. And I know Seth knows, and I know, he knows. I know they know, but they can't say anything. But we're still going to speculate, but that's not going to fix a darn thing. Anyway, All right. Well, let's see. I know I've only been here on here 20 minutes, but I'm gonna have to come back in a little bit. Okay, Sprinkle Donut she's off tonight, and we were thinking about doing a live much later. I'm thinking about coming on around midnight or something like that. Yeah, they'll never get Meadow's never coming back to them ever. So we'll just have to pick this up later now that I fixed my damn machine. She does deserve to have a good life. You're right about that, Leslie. She absolutely does. So anyway, I'm glad y'all came back and stayed with me once I got this fixed, but I got to come back and finish this later. I think I'm going to come on sometime around midnight or whatever, because I know everybody else is on, and I mod for several people, and I don't want to miss their lives. And anyway, just a lot going on. I just have found that if I go on at midnight or something like that, I know it's a little bit late, but it's just easier because I don't have to do anything else. Everybody's gone to bed, whatever, and my dogs are asleep, and I could just go do what I need to do. So let's do that. Just plan on me coming back at, love you too. Oh, Leslie, I love you too. I'm so glad to see you today. I will come back at midnight Central Standard Time, and I live in Texas, so there you go. And we'll pick up where we left off. Y'all go enjoy your dinner, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Y'all are always so great.